Hey YouTube, Mark here. Another short video, I promise. This is another section of the Packout video that I've been doing. My first one was about the kitchen equipment, cooking, eating, the dishes, the utensils, pots, pans, cook stoves, all that stuff was included in my last video. This one here is a bit sharper of an item, and that is knives. I've got several types that I'm going to be taking. Not all of them are exactly knives, but I figure it kinds of falls into that category. So, the first thing I want to talk about, I'll grab the smallest one here. This one is going to actually be the one that my wife carries around because she's not a whiz with knives, and except for cutting bits of string or something like that, maybe whittling a stick down to get some kindling or something like that. She doesn't need something very heavy duty, massive type stuff. So this is what she gets. This is a Winchester locking blade folding knife. Very simple, very lightweight. The steel is actually a fairly good quality and holds an edge fairly well. You just push down on the little back end part here, releases the lock, and you fold it up. It's very lightweight, compact, good for her weightlifting restrictions. She can carry her own knife without being bogged down by weight. So, nice simple little knife for her. Now my pocket knife is going to be a little bit heavier duty. I'll be probably, again, whittling out wood, get kindling, maybe actually cutting some wood, ropes, strings, maybe even in cooking or something like that. So I wanted something a little more heavy duty, something that could handle a harder job. And this is what I got. It is a Kershaw 1-ton knife. It is not a mechanical assisted knife or anything. It just has a little thumb port to flip on. The locking mechanism is actually part of the back of the knife, where you have to actually slide it over and then close it up. It does have a belt clip, which is removable, interchangeable. You take out these 3 little screws down here, you put them down here, and now your knife goes the other way on your belt. No big thing for me, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at. Nice, thick, sturdy blade. That's, gosh, I would say 1.25 inches, maybe even close to 1.5 inches wide down here at the tip, or at the base. Nice sweep hilt, sweep blade up, a little bit of a drop point, not much. Very, very nice steel, very sharp, holds it for a while. I've actually had this one, I would say for 6 months or so. I've never once had to sharpen it yet. Not that I've ever really used it much. Yeah, I don't think I've really used it much at all. I have no need to yet, but it'll come up. Very thin design. I like that a lot. You can put it in your pocket, forget it's there. But it does have a little bit of heft to it. I mean, you're carrying this around, you'll know it's there. So, yep, nice little knife. I wanted something that kind of fits my personality. Big, strong-ish. So, yep, that's my pocket knife. Now something that's a little more heavy duty for batoning wood for your fire pile, to a heavier duty cutting, field work and stuff like that. That's what this knife is for. This is a Buck 119. Got it for 50 bucks, I think it was, over at Farm and Fleet. When I first started looking at knives for my campouts and backpacking and stuff, I saw this knife and said, yeah, that's the one that I need. Other knives did catch my attention, and I kept on flip-flopping back and forth, but you know what? Go with what your gut tells you to do. My gut was telling me to go with this. Good solid handle. It's not textured, so it might get slick. However, there are some slight groove bevelings in the handle right here, you have a good hilt and a butt to really hold it in your hand well, so it's not really going to slip out of there. The blade is fairly thick. I don't think it's quite a 1/4 inch, but I think that is probably very, very close. I would say, I don't know, maybe 3/16 of an inch. It's very close to a 1/4 inch thick. And upward curve on the blade, nice sweep back hilt. One of the reasons that I went back and got this is I was watching Survivor Man with Les Stroud, and he was up in Alaska. He was doing a kayaking thing up there, and of course he lost his way or something like that. He couldn't get back to where he's supposed to be going, and I saw that this was the type of knife he was carrying. Now, if he can use it up in Alaska and survive for a week, I can have it in Wisconsin and last a week. I hope. So yeah, that's my knife. That's my primary hunting, gutting knife, survival knife if I ever need it. I really don't know what else to talk about. The blade, I think, is about 6 inches long. That sounds about right. I'm not sure if it's full tang or not. I see no rivets down here at all to tell me that it is or isn't. So I have no idea how the tang actually fits in here. I just don't know. But I'm sure if someone's watching this, they'll know how these knives are made and what the tang is and stuff like that. I would go with Buck. It is a very well-known name. They make a lot of good products. I really don't think I'll have a problem using this knife at all. It feels good in the hand. It's got good weight. Other knives I was looking at getting, this was under a pound. Other knives were a pound or more. So yeah, I'll sacrifice a little bit of weight for good function and everything too. So comes with a sheath. I think that was also included in the weight, but I'm not sure. I wish that this was a snap, but it's not. It's just a rivet to hold it in there, so you cannot unsnap this no matter how hard you pull. But it is a good sized belt loop. You can get probably a 2-inch belt through there, no problem. Nice heavy leather. You can see how thick that is right there. Holds the blade comfortably. Single snap holds it in. It is not sliding out of there at all. Whoever says that these knives fall out of the sheaths is full of crap, because they did something to either the button or the leather or something to get that knife to slide out of the sheath. It is not going to come out. I could throw this under a frickin' bus and this knife will not come out of the sheath. So that's my knife, and I'm happy with it. Now, there's a few other things that you're going to need while you're out there. You can't survive on just a knife alone. I mean, you could, but it's very difficult. So, next thing I got was this. I found it at my local hardware store, and that is a MultiTool. Now, this is so cheaply made that the company that makes it doesn't even want their name put on it. I mean, seriously, I've looked this thing over. I cannot find anywhere where someone has put the company name on this little item. Let's see, we got your pliers, of course. You got, well, I guess that's supposed to be a saw. I don't know what the hell you're going to cut, because that is like the dullest saw blade I've ever seen. And it's only about 2 inches long at most. In fact, and then on this side of it, there's actually some markings. I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not, but there's some markings on here for a ruler, and it is a like 2-inch ruler. That's all you're getting. You got a little flat-headed screwdriver right there. I don't know if you can quite pick that up or not. Phillips headed screwdriver, and the most important tool on this entire thing is a bottle opener. You gotta be able to open your beer while you're out on the trail, right? I think it's also a can opener, you know, the old style where you have to actually punch it all the way around the can. I think that's more what that is, because it does seem to have like a slight cutting edge to it. Okay, so that's one side of this ridiculously cheap survival tool. Got a good 2-inch blade here. Again, the metal is pretty shabby. I don't think I'd ever want to cut anything with this, so I don't think I ever will. You got another blade here. Oh, this one's only like, what, an inch, if that. Look how small that little blade is. I mean, that's bigger than Jen's knife. Okay, so yeah, cutting with this is going to be pretty much out of the question. Maybe if I had like a fishing string or something like that, I'd be able to cut it. Looks like I got, well, looks like I got 2 more screwdrivers, along with this one here actually has a bottle opener on it, and this one is just a flat screwdriver. So I've got, what, 3 flat screw head drivers, 1 Phillips head screwdriver, 2 pretty much worthless blades, a useless saw blade, and a 2-inch ruler, and then of course a can opener and a bottle opener. And the most important thing, probably the only reason I'll ever use it, would be for the pliers. The pliers also have a wire cutter aspect to it right down here at the pivot point. But yeah, I'm not expecting a lot from this. I think I paid $5 for it. You know, going one of the little discount bins. It does seal up really nice and hard. You know, it's not easily going to just come open on you. It's cheap, and it'll probably get me by for a while. I've had this now. We go camping, you know, family camping in the car. I always take this with me just in case. I've never once had to use it, but I'll still pack it away on my motorcycle trips, and I'll still pack it away on my camping, hiking trips. So maybe someday I'll actually use some of the stuff on there. Don't know when, don't know how, but you never know. All right, another knife tool or utility tool to use would be a saw. I probably will never take this on the motorcycle. Usually I'm staying at local campgrounds or someplace where it's, you know, you can go buy your wood already cut up and ready to go. This is more for hiking purposes. If you're out in the bush and you need to cut down a small tree or cut limbs off of a dead one or whatever to build your shelter, to process wood for fire, whatever, this is what I'm going to get. Now, I've seen tools like this in the camping department at different stores, and it surprised me on how expensive those things were. I mean, they're not expensive, you know, you're not going to go out and pay $70 for a blade like this. They have other blades for camping, like the Sven saw. Jeez, I think that thing's like $40 or $50, and some other collapsible type, you know, hard-working utility saws. But I got this out of the garden shop, the garden section at Farm and Fleet. Basically the same exact thing that I saw in the camping section, made by Coleman, I think it was, or some brand like that. Coleman wanted $12 for their little saw. I went over to the garden section, picked this one up for $6. All right, same damn thing, folds down, locks into place. It's got a hole in the bottom of the handle for a lanyard if I need it, you know, put it around my wrist and make sure I got a good solid grip on it. The blade is actually replaceable. If the blade starts going on me, bends, breaks, whatever, I can take the screw out right here, take the blade off, buy a new blade for $2 or $3, slap it back in there, and I'm good to go. I don't have to buy a whole new saw or anything like that. And again, $5, $6 for this compared to $12, $15 for a camping saw. I'll go with this. One last thing to show you, and it's again nothing that I've ever planned on needing until we were thinking of doing an overnight hike. And you have to think about sanitation purposes. When I'm out on the motorcycle, I'm staying in state campgrounds, privately owned campgrounds, stuff like that. They usually have bathroom facilities. If you're hiking out on a trail, porta potties aren't every half mile, so what do you got to do? Well, you got to dig a hole, and you do that so it's more ecologically friendly for the environment. You don't want bears coming over and eating your shit, okay? You don't want the squirrels eating the stuff. You want to cover up the scent. You want to mask that you've ever even been there. It's part of the leave no trace aspects of camping, which I am a big fan of. So, another cheap purchase, and you can get these for a couple of bucks, or you can go out and buy the heavy duty Army surplus $20 ones, and that's a trowel. This is a standard garden trowel used for getting into the dirt in your garden. This, you just dig like a 4-inch hole that you can put your bathroom stool into. That's all this is going to be for. It's lightweight, it's plastic handled. This one's actually fairly cheap. I mean, I can't tell you exactly how much I spent on this because this is one that we just had laying around. We don't garden, but my mother-in-law I think thought we would at one point. So she bought us a few gardening products and items, and this was one of them. We never got into the gardening, but we still have the tools. So we have this, we're going to use it. You, like I said, you dig a hole, you do your business, you cover it up. Plain and simple, okay? Be friendly to your environment is friendly to you. And that's it. Those are the knives and specialty tools that we'll be taking out on motorcycle trips, overnight stays, camping, backpacking, and other things like that. So this is Mark saying thank you again for watching. If you like what you see, click your like button, make a comment, even subscribe. I'll see you on the road.